Okay.
Testing, testing. Okay, so the first paragraph is telling you what I tried to convey this morning about the yamas and niyamas, seemingly kind of theories that seem also a little bit interesting and seem also to apply a little bit in our lives. But with time, you'll come to the conclusion, as I did also, that they are of major importance, really, and really determine how your life unfolds, really determine the quality of your life also, and totally determine how people interact with you. I think it is just a natural occurrence, if you are the least bit sensitive, that from the moment that we have discussed yamas and niyamas in the basic course, that you have gradually integrated them into your life more and more. Over time, I've mentioned a couple of times that if you are in trouble, if you find yourself in misery, refer back to the yamas and niyamas and see where you went wrong. Because the answer always lies there. One of the yamas or niyamas, or a combination of them. Usually a combination. And so it is likely in each of you, they have started playing a role, consciously, if not unconsciously. Of course, before we ever discussed those principles, they were already part of your life, at least to some extent, because we all have a conscience to which we sometimes listen, but sometimes we conveniently ignore subconsciously. The suggestion with the yamas and niyamas is to not ignore it anymore. It will at first make your life a little more miserable because you will take the difficult road each time rather than the convenient way. The convenient way is just to avoid things, avoid the voice of your heart, but in the end that leads to misery. So following the yamas, niyamas, you do choose the difficult road, which most people simply do not have the courage to, but it leads to initial difficulty, overcoming your resistance, but it then leads to situations not turning into misery. Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Would you say the yamas and the niyamas are a way to prevent, it's like the only way to prevent accruing more karma?
I think you can say that, yes. Yes, because every disruption in your peace of mind is in fact caused by some action that then bounces back on you, which is basically karma. Yeah.
And the yamas and niyamas are kind of a neutral way to go through it, right? Like you're living, but you're not being like untruthful, so that you get that back to you. I don't know. I know what you're saying. I'm just,
well, it is not a way to avoid karma, but it is a way to avoid bad karma. But by following the yamas and niyamas, you do not stop living your life. You're still actively engaged in pursuing work, pursuing dreams, relationships, etc. But based upon the yamas and niyamas, you stop behaving in negative or destructive ways. And so negative and or destructive things will not bounce back on you anymore. On the contrary, you will be confronted with more and more positivity from your environment. This is still karma. Positive or negative doesn't matter, it's still karma, but it is constructive. On being firmly established in honesty, all kinds of gems present themselves before the yogi. But this is not truthfulness, this is honesty. This is not stealing. It starts, there's hardly any mention of stealing objects or money or so, because that is, everybody knows this. He who lives by the sword dies by the sword. A thief will be stolen from. But on a much more subtle level, things that people do not consider theft, there are many subtle ways of theft. And one is the issue that I mentioned this morning, when you help people, when you do good to people, when you give things to people, and they thank you for it, just accept their gratitude rather than denying it and saying, oh no. Anyway, we talked about that this morning. Yeah. Do you have any questions about non-stealing, the principle of non-stealing?
Recently, I visited the clinic.
Yeah. Any Chikwa in Itaewon? You should go there.
Actually, one of the doctors is my friend's sister's husband.
That's where it always goes wrong.
So I got some discount from there.
Yes.
So
And behind your back they cheated you.
so I got some discount. So
Yeah.
can it be also be
To get a discount? No.
from
They
the-
were thieves in the first place by charging such high prices. The prices are so high that they comfortably give you a discount.
But among other people, I just only want to get some discount.
Yes.
And others cannot get a discount. So
Yes.
it's not fair.
I hate dentists and I hate doctors and hospitals and everything. It is one big commercial circus. And they give you treatments that you don't need, and then you should be so happy that you get a discount. I don't think so. Go to Itaewon. This dentist is really, she's a yogi, and she applies her yamas and niyamas in her practice as a dentist. Really, really. She's such a wonderful lady. Those who have been there confirm this immediately. They immediately feel the difference with other dentists. So why you haven't gone there is really a riddle to me, because I've mentioned it many times.
Okay, can I follow up on that question though? Because you said
Yes.
that they're already ripping people off by charging so much money, whatever that is. But, so this is something I'm thinking about for the future.
Yeah, you want to become a dentist.
Yes. They charge so much money. And have 25
She will
patients
become
in
your
one
patient.
room. Yeah. But I feel this for the future, for just reading some stuff about how to like not be a slave to your job.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if people are happy paying, like if you do a good job, shouldn't you charge what you feel is right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
shouldn't we value our work? Like, even some people might say like, oh, it's a ripoff.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Okay.
So I go to Itaewon and I happily pay for the treatment that I get there.
So you're saying,
But all the other dentists I've had in Korea in the time that I've been here, and some in Holland too, I don't happily pay because I just don't feel good being there.
right. So as long as you're being honest and doing a good job, it's not stealing to charge people a lot of money for your time or your services.
You know, you can't expect everybody to be a yogi and live according to the yamas and niyamas. But many people choose a job not out of passion, but out of greed. I will become a lawyer because I can make a lot of money. They don't say, I will become a lawyer because there are many people who need my help and I can help them. There are many people who become a doctor because they see those fancy TV series like ER or what's it called? And they think, wow, glamorous, I become a doctor, that's glamorous. And they walk around in those hospitals with their nose up high. And they have no compassion for their patients. I have a big dilemma with charging a tuition fee for this course. But if I don't charge, all kinds of people come who are not really interested but think it's an interesting experiment. And it happened in the past. That's why I have to pay the whole amount also, so that you're committed. In the past you could pay per month. But the last time I checked on the internet, a similar course, 200 hours IRYT, International Registered Yoga Teacher Training course, cost 4 million won. And looking at the curriculum, it is how to teach. You get lectures on how to teach. You get lectures on physical anatomy. And then there is a small part of Sanskrit terms or philosophy, which they don't know how to explain. It's very superficial, purely focused on exercise and how to teach. I don't have to feel bad about charging the amount that you pay. I still feel a contradiction or a conflict. So the price will remain low. I even sometimes think of lowering it. That may happen in the future. At some point I hope to be able to teach for free.
Good if you doubled it, the price, because
it should be 8 million won actually per module.
but would that be sure? But would that be stealing? Because if
No.
people find value from it.
I wouldn't be able to sit here with a straight face charging so much money. Really not. It's not worth it. And I just always wonder how people can be so deluded, blind, to actually pay 4 million won. They'd rather go there because they know about me. They'd rather go there and pay 3 times as much than come here. They deserve that. They deserve to bleed financially. I'm serious. For their ignorance.
So who is this? Who's they?
There are several yoga schools in Seoul that charge 3.5 to 4 million won. It's just a commercial circus. Reputed yoga schools. It should be proportionate, it should be reasonable. You know what my philosophy also is? If it is more expensive, the class will be half size. I'd rather have a double size. The more people I can reach, the better. But I want people to be motivated. Otherwise my inspiration becomes destroyed. It happened in the past. Because I teach from my heart. It is like something is taking over and there is a threat and I follow that threat and it is not planned actually. But if there are disturbing elements in the group, that pulls me down from causal level and I just cannot speak in an inspired way anymore. I just lose the thread and I become mental. It becomes boring. So it's important to find a balance. If you have a little bit of a threshold because people should pay, then that will weed out the adventurers that just want to have some nice experiment or experience. But making it too expensive makes it luxurious, makes it, how do you call it?
Prohibitive.
Huh?
Prohibitive?
Yeah, kind of. For the people who really need it will not come. And those few people who come, they are totally deluded by, they think that the high price means that they are special because they can afford to take such an expensive course. They feel maybe being elite or whatever. It's total rubbish. They probably wouldn't even learn anything from me. They're so busy with their own ego. So asking too much money is theft for what you offer. And actually, if you visit the International Yoga Federation website, you will find also that their courses are similarly priced. Yeah. Yeah, and very high level, and just reasonable price.
So wouldn't charging too little be theft to yourself? Like your dentist that you really like, sounds like maybe she should charge a little bit more so that she's also being fair to herself.
No, she is not charging too little. She's just charging the rates that are set. But she does not give you unnecessary treatments, which most dentists do. And the national health insurance pays for a lot of your treatments within certain boundaries. Most dentists make a sport out of it to give you as much treatments as possible that do not fall within the coverage of the national pension, the national insurance scheme. Anyway, just follow your feeling. I always have a little strange taste in my mouth whenever I have to go to a clinic or a dentist or whatever. Not always. There are also very sincere people. But the tendency, the world that we live in, many people just do not work from their heart anymore. But there are gems here and there are actually more than I think, than I may appear to be thinking. There are absolutely marvelous, wonderful people everywhere, more than we think. It's difficult to find them, because in general, those people are like me. They are like hermits, and they don't stand on the roof shouting their services, advertising their services. You just have to hear about them through word of mouth, and this dentist in Itaewon is one of them.
General.
Yes. Wonderful man. He saw Sammy in the Saturday class,
Was you here yesterday?
and he is on Facebook also. He has more than 3,000 members on his Facebook. Can you imagine?
Wow, really?
The general.
So he looked at Sam, and he looked at me, and he said, and then he looked at me with big eyes, and he said, "Man, Sammy." So I said, yes. I should stop talking about Sam.
Wait, who's Sammy? Yeah.
Christelle, Celeste, she came to me before lunch, and can I tell this?
Go ahead.
She was shining, full of joy, and she said, "Ron, I have something really special for you." She gave me this hanger. She said, "This is for Sam."
What did you?
She made a hanger out of copper
I thought you said
and glass.
She gave me her hair.
Silver chain, copper, glass, beautiful, self-made. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful people everywhere.
Oh, that's you. That's you. Stop it.
So, the next sutra says, on being firmly established in sexual continence, vigor is gained. And this, of course, is not continence or You know the whole story. I told you about this in the morning also. Chastity is really a royal ability, I think, that really leads to marvelous things in life, among which is real relationships, not just based on sexuality, but much deeper than that. And for sure, it will save you a lot of misery, avoiding controversy or even scandal. When you think of brahmacharya has actually, it doesn't say anything about sexuality like that. The brahmacharya is behavior that leads to God or Brahman. And that is not only in sexuality, it is in everything you do. So basically all the yamas and niyamas applied lead to Brahman. It really does. I don't know if you have been in a relationship. While in this relationship you felt attracted to somebody else, which of course is human. If you're a little bit sensitive, you immediately feel resistance. You immediately feel the potential for misery, conflict. Even the idea of promiscuity leads to such complications that it becomes a total distraction. You see this? And if you actually do go into promiscuous relationships, you have to live a life of lies. And you always have to be suspicious, always have to look over your shoulder, always have to be careful not to say the wrong thing. And you never know when your partner is going to find out. You put passwords on your phone, your computer, everything. You don't want to live like that. That is, maybe you have done in the past or have come close to it, but just try to remember how poisonous even the thought of promiscuity can be. And if you want to live in peace and without conflict, this is one of the things you really can do to avoid it. Is avoid unchaste behavior, so to speak. 39th Sutra. Non-possessiveness being confirmed, there arises knowledge of the how and wherefore of existence. Do you know people in your environment who are greedy? People who just want to be rich or are rich? The first thing you notice is their tension. They're very tensed. They're blocked. They're dark. Like people who think they are perfect are also very tensed and dark. They're very tamasic. And they live in fear 24 hours a day. Do you recognize this? So non-possessiveness or non-desire, as we've called it in the basic course, it is not about not having desire, because desire has led to your manifestation into a physical body in the first place. We know that, vasana. And desire is what makes us tick, that makes our heart tick. It makes us pursue our dreams. It makes us do the good things that we do, sometimes bad things to learn from. But without desire, there wouldn't be life in the first place. What is really important about this principle of non-desire or non-possessiveness is that you are aware of your desire and that you pursue your desires consciously. Aware of the yamas and niyamas, of course. It becomes a problem, possessiveness or desire becomes a problem when you become a slave of it. And this is usually the case when you are not aware of your desires and how they manipulate you into doing things, all kinds of things, that lead to misery. Yeah, I put it in this way. Desire is normal, but only when you choose to desire consciously. But if desire chooses you, then you are in danger. You are lost. 더 필요해요? 하나 더? Yubin is so flexible. If she arches back, she can touch the back of her head with her buttocks.
Cool.
Like doing mat's pose, and then her feet over her head, and her buttocks are touching the back of her head. I'm so full of desire to do that too.
So she can pretty much bend her spine in half? Is that?
Kind of.
That's crazy.
It's creepy,
Yeah.
but she can do that. Really. I have to go to Russia to have my back broken. China.
The hinge.
To feed my desire. Talking about Matt's pose. Did you see his picture on Facebook? The Salapasana, but then standing straight completely. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
And when I saw that picture, I started doing Salapasana every morning. But I choose this desire. I just want to develop more, and I have room for this development. I have for years taught 2, 3, sometimes 4 classes a day, no room for self-practice. In the past 3 years, I've been practicing every morning before the 7 o'clock class, and I'm adding more and more exercises, and one of those is Salapasana, which I've done in the past also on a daily basis, but never pursuing to go beyond a certain point. I'm just doing it every day. I keep abhyasa in mind, thinking that if I just do this for a couple of years or so, I may also in a natural way be able to stand up straight. You see the approach? I know it will take many attempts, and it is just part of my yoga practice, and I don't care where it goes, but someday maybe it will just happen, and then okay, then it is nice. And if it doesn't happen, I had good practice that has benefited me throughout the rest of the day, and so forth. That's a very different approach than being obsessed by something. I must be able to do this, and you hurt yourself in your pursuit of doing so. And the thing really is that if you keep yourself busy with something on a regular basis, one day you will become a master at it. Yeah.
In the past, especially with in the beginner course, I think we talked about his desire is tied to Manipura Chakra, right?
Ambition is Manipura
Yeah.
Chakra.
Okay, so like you said,
Desire, I think, is in the water center, but they're very closely linked.
so that your ambition can affect your eyesight. We talked about before, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
like I told my sister this, she didn't believe me. But like, she's always had better than perfect eyesight, like her whole life. And
Yeah.
then this year, she did 2 internships, and she's doing, getting her master's in accounting and studying for the CPA exams. And now she needs, like, her eyesight's not like, it's not like she's blind or something, or that it's that bad, but now she needs glasses.
How old is she?
She's 22.
Oh, that's very young.
Yeah, so
So that's not deteriorating eyesight because of aging.
no, so that's why I was thinking, in her case, it was like, when she was telling me about that, and I know how her eyesight has been, like, I just thought, like, that maybe that was kind of proof to what you had said about that it's all just energy, and
It is.
she did that to herself, basically. But doesn't that mean then that she could correct it, or is it like,
Well, actually, interestingly, Jane mentioned something about this also.
is it like damage done, now it's too late?
Actually, my deteriorating eyesight was for me the start of my self-practice 3 years ago. Before that, I didn't have much self-practice. I just became, after Itaewon, starting here, I was very busy for a year or so, having classes spread out over the day. And after a year, I was not so busy anymore, and basically I just started enjoying not so busy for a little while. I needed that. Then I used my time to start studying Korean. And halfway in the course, studying Korean, I noticed that my eyes started having trouble reading small characters. And then I remembered Mayurasana, and I started not practicing only Mayurasana, but a set of exercises, which has expanded since then. These days, 11, 12 exercises, 13 exercises every morning. I started with 4 or 5 that time. But I did stop the deterioration of my eyes. It got a little bit better. I think it will never totally recover. Maybe also because of age. So I'm now at the point I can actually read. This I can read very easily. When I read a book, I read every evening. I can read it, but it's just more convenient with glasses. I use reading glasses. Not prescription, but I just bought them for 3,000 won at some store. So they look awful, but it's not important. I've never had my eyes measured also, but my eyes actually improved a little bit and then stabilized. It's not deteriorating further since 3 years ago.
Yeah. I just wondered if she practiced yoga more and changed.
She doesn't know anything about energy and yoga and the fire center and the link of the fire center with the eyes and ambition.
Yeah.
Ambition destroying eyesight. Well, ambition is good, but when ambition is, again, same as with desire, if it's overtaking you, and you see this with Korean children, really.
Right.
More than 50% of Korean children are wearing glasses, and that is not normal for young people. When I was a child, there was only 1 or 2 children with glasses, and now it is more than half of the class. More than half of the class, really. It's not that the children are so desirous, their parents are very desirous, and they poison their children with it. And they go to school from early morning to late at night. That's really destroying the fire center, Manipura. In case of your sister, if she's not open to it, she will just think you are totally nuts.
No,
She,
well, she does practice yoga, but for her,
physical exercise.
yeah, it's more, she thinks of it as a physical exercise, but
Yeah.
I've noticed of how much she's changed over the last couple of years. And we used to go together when I was my last year in university. We would go to yoga class together a lot. That was like what we did together. And
How did she change?
she just,
As a result of her yoga practice, or
I think,
as a result of her desire?
what?
As a result of her yoga practice, or as a result of her desire, her ambition, or both?
Well, she's always been kind of an ambitious person, but I feel like that part of her has increased a lot within the last year or so. And but I mean, other parts of her character changed, and I think that was from practicing yoga. Like she got a lot, but like she's a lot more calm and more compassionate than she used to be, and not as reactive. And I don't know, it just improved our relationship a lot, I found. And I always joked like it was people like her that need yoga. like yoga is good for everyone, but I think she was someone who had learned a lot more from it than some others who some of those things come more naturally. They don't come naturally to her. So I don't know, I just feel like it changed her a lot, but she hasn't been able to, because she's so busy pursuing all these things, and her life's so wrapped up in that right now, she doesn't really have time at all to practice. And I don't know, I just thought it just seemed really crazy to me that her eyesight would just change this year. It's like, to me it's just like, it's not a coincidence.
It is not.
Yeah, but she didn't believe me, but it's okay.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
She will see that while her eyes are deteriorating, your eyes 20 years later will still be good.
Well,
Then she
actually,
can't
I
deny it
had
anymore.
glasses though from
You do?
elementary school, so maybe I was the more ambitious one, younger.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
Now I don't know what to believe anymore. I know that you've been incredibly busy,
No, I know.
and that has something to do with ambition and desire too.
No, it's not gone. It's still there.
Yeah, but now a little bit more sensible.
Yeah, but hers isn't anymore.
Well, she has her own process to go through. If she's interested, she will contact you and ask you about your opinion, your insights. But if not,
Yeah.
she won't appreciate your input. You
Yeah.
noticed that already. Okay, any questions about honesty, chastity, or non-desire? Yeah, John?
I have a question. I don't know if it's about Ham.
It's okay. Anything is okay.
Earlier this week I went snowboarding
Yeah.
and I spent the whole time like being kind of terrified going on a piece of wood strapped to my feet, sliding down a hill.
Was it the first time you did it?
No, it was the second time.
Well, that's the same as the first time. Okay.
I don't know, like the first time I did it, it was fine.
Mm.
And I found it really thrilling.
Yeah.
And then at the time I went snowboarding the first time, I also, I was reckless on my bike. I always.
It's a really long time ago.
But I was reckless on my bike until I started the yoga course. But that was.
I don't want to talk about it.
Reckless on my bike, like I don't know, just weaving between traffic and cutting off
I do that too.
And like, but this time I went snowboarding. I haven't been on my bike in like a year and a half, and I went snowboarding. And I was terrified of the whole ground sliding on this mountain. And it was the exact opposite of what I thought I would be. I thought, okay, I can deal with this, or just control my emotions, or be fine. But the whole time there was no control, and I was kind of, afraid most of the time. I wasn't really, I didn't feel like I was afraid of personal injury. I was afraid of injuring other people who were flying down the mountain, like children appearing out of nowhere. So, my question is, why? Surely from doing yoga, I feel like I should have got more control over my emotions. But instead what I feel is that these little things like riding a bike through sauna is scary for me. Or like going down.
That is maybe because you see potential danger more clearly now than that you saw it in the past. I've been suggested to go skiing, and I don't. My body is my asset. What happens if I break my legs? That's what happens. You fart spontaneously. No, I mean, in the past I would have been attracted by the thrill, not thinking about the possible consequences if. And I'm not being overly careful, but I'm a yoga teacher, and there's no social security in this country if I break my legs, especially not before I was a Korean citizen. And I'm trying to build a yoga school, and that needs continuity. If I break a leg, or two legs, or worse, that would be stupid, wouldn't it?
But what about like, I always enjoyed my recklessness, even though other people did.
So you grew up a little. Little John became Big John. No, John, I'm serious. As a yogi, you become more sensitive, and you become more. You anticipate better what your actions could lead to.
But recklessness is sometimes an asset, right?
No.
Fearlessness is
It's exciting, but it is not an asset.
Would you have been okay?
Recklessness is not fearlessness.
Would you have been okay if you were on a mountain where children weren't flying past you? Because
yeah.
Korea, like, sometimes is really lax about things like that. And when I went snowboarding in the south, it was just like, how is everyone not dying every day? It was just like, people crashing into their children, breaking arms, foreigners getting sued because someone else crashed. I knew someone had to leave Korea because someone hit her, and then she was sued.
Well, actually, we went at night time, and we went during the day the next day. And during the night, it was fine. I was okay.
Maybe you're just more aware of conditions, not so much more
Just
afraid.
I was definitely bothered by this. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Actually, one thing that was interesting, I got to the bottom, and I'd fallen over like 5 times and bruised my bum and hit my head on the floor. And I sat down for like 15 minutes and just had to, I felt it was so despondent, it felt like depressed. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to drink a hot chocolate, I'm going to relax, no more snowboarding for me. And then I got to the bottom of the slope, and I found myself walking towards the lift to go back
Going up
to the
again.
top, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Before I knew it, I was on the lift going back up again.
So John, how was the second descent then?
Oh, well, the second time was just as bad as the first. but
Yep.
The interesting thing was I came around the corner and I saw a group of clearly equally bad snowboarders all lying scattered in this.
Dead.
And I saw them, and I couldn't help but laugh because I saw that I I saw myself reflected in just a slope full of scared people all afraid of hitting each other. And then I felt a little bit better about myself.
But it's really, it's,
I think you should respect that feeling that you get that makes you resistant of doing this, because obviously there is a real danger there.
I thought skiing in Korea is much more dangerous than skiing in the States.
It's just
Like,
chaotic.
they ski like they drive, and it's just bad.
Look at her face.
like I'm not like the experts here, but I'm like really good, and I've been taken out from behind by people like I can't
Yes.
hide in the back of my head,
Yes.
you know, and it's just they're really bad. Which I'm serious. Like I've been skiing in a lot of places, and it's just like this is the worst.
well,
So maybe that's you're seeing that now.
Yeah, you should pay attention to that warning signal that you feel inside. It is real, and recklessness is not fearlessness. It's the opposite. Recklessness is taking risk, unnecessary risk, and fearlessness is being rational about fear, calculating your fear, and knowing that you don't have to be afraid. That is.
Come under the yamas and niyamas? Is that
You can always reduce it to a yama or a niyama. In this case, truthfulness.
and violence.
And
It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, you can put it there too. But if you're not paying attention, you're not being truthful to yourself, and you're also committing theft because you deny yourself important information that you should act upon, and you don't act upon it. So yes, you can bring it back to the yamas again, for sure. I like speed, and I'm very attracted to skiing actually. Holland doesn't have mountains, Korea does, and they are close to the city. But I've just never given in to the temptation to try. Actually, I did my first yoga class on crutches.
You taught it? Or you
Yes. Yeah, I never told you this.
No.
I started teaching yoga in October 1997 with 2 people. And that was in October. So in November, there was only 1 person left. And this person said, by the end of November, it's better to stop now. Let's start again in February. And then there is the SIWA, Seoul International Women Association meeting, where I would hire a table, pay for a table, and present my course to the people. And that was on the 5th of February. And 9 people signed up for my course. And a couple of days later, I broke my ankle in the Hapkido gym. And Wednesday, 12th of February, I was supposed to start my first class with those 9 people. And I thought, I am not going to give up this opportunity. I'm not going to give up this class. So I jumped into a taxi. Well, I stumbled into a taxi with my back around my shoulders. And I went to Hanamdong and teach the class. And they were, of course, quite surprised. Well, I just did it without any doubt in my mind. And actually 5 people came back the week after, so not so bad. I don't want to break anything anymore again, if I can avoid it. I like speed. I like the idea of racing down a slope of snow on skis, or I like roller coasters. I like motorcycles, cars. I like excitement, but I just don't give in to it anymore. The only thing I do sometimes is go to Paju Speed Park and drive a go-kart.
I want to see that.
Okay, we will go again this spring with both the basic course and the advanced course.
It sounds way more advanced than the basic people can handle, I think.
They have go-karts for children. If you really like speed or excitement, you can hire a racing kart. And it is really such a screaming monster. It's really fast. A little bit expensive, but really it's exciting. We can make a competition with Brian. Among the girls, who's a daredevil? I think Natasha likes it. And Jane.
Jane's the quiet. Yes,
Heidi also. Heidi has a license. She comes here by car, I think, and she lives close by. Maybe she's secretly already training. How do you speak part? Huh?
I can't drive.
You can't.
No.
It's very simple. There are no gears, there are no clutches, just gas and brake.
I don't know how to put it.
Just gas and brake, that's all.
Sounds brilliant.
Separately.
All right, it's the same thing.
Let's have a short break.